Coming to you today from Wohlfeils Hardware, where their surplus equipment live auction takes place Sunday, June 1st, beginning at 10 a.m. They're putting the equipment out now. You can preview it today and tomorrow here at Wohlfeils. As I said last hour, we're going to learn a little bit about history of the area and some of the businesses in the area this morning. And one of those businesses sits in Freeland, Michigan. It's been there for about 70 years. And a couple of folks are with us this morning from Pat's Market. Introduce yourselves.
Yes, good morning. This is Stan Kabala from Pat's Food Center and Do It Best Hardware, Freeland, Michigan. One of the sons of Pat Kabala, the original owner.
And his youngest son, Joel Kabala.
I like the way you said that. You like that?
Yeah,
Yes.
that makes me the oldest, I guess. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but neither of you is as old as I am, so it's all right. 70 years. So let's go back to the beginning. Was the family in the grocery business? Was your dad somehow in the grocery business before that?
As far as I know, he started. He started as a farmer. His family had a milk farm or a dairy farm, and then he got in the grocery business. I believe out of high school, he got hired at A&P.
Oh, Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company.
In at the store in Midland, I believe.
Yep.
They're from our father's from Midland originally, and he started there. And he always told me the story is he worked there several years, and he watched the managers, and always sat in meetings with the upper management and the department managers and learned the trade through them. And then he just one day noticed that the future laid was whenever one of these guys was going to retire, the director or the manager, he might be able to get that position. But when was that going to be? And from there, he just learned that trade and then went out on his own and started his own business. And he borrowed, I heard he borrowed $500 from his mom.
$800 to be exact.
Okay,
Yeah.
It was a much more expensive business.
And started his own store, a little store in Midland, I believe.
On Eastman, yep. And he.
So the first Pat's was not in Freeland.
No,
Correct.
that's correct. He actually got that money, rented that little store, and he slept there for 2 years every day.
Did he really? What did
7
he
days
sell?
a week.
Was it general?
Yeah,
General
just
store?
a small general store, mostly food products. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So how long has Pat's been at its location now on M47 in Freeland?
Well,
Since 1955.
55?
So that was before.
Oh, because all that was before.
Yeah, he started foods, so that
Yeah.
was getting in business. And then he started Pat's Food Center in 1955. So
yeah, which was just down the street. The address. So we just moved in '89. We moved to the new location where we built a new store, and then in 2003 we expanded that store to what you see today.
And you guys own the whole plaza then?
Yes.
That's
that
all
was-
your plaza, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what else is there? You have Pat's, and of course you said the hardware business. You have that too, don't you?
Yes,
Yep.
they do it best.
That
of course.
was the expansion in 2003 and 04 was they add the hardware and
So
expand the grocery.
I want to focus on the grocery business. Because for most of us, we go to the store, we see the price, we scratch our head, and then we pay the price.
Sure.
The grocery business is a difficult business, isn't it?
It's,
Is that one word?
That's pretty kind of. It's a brutal business. It's margins are paper thin. People don't understand what you have there. The amount of shrink that we deal with.
Yeah, have to absorb just the cost of running the building.
Shrink is products that go out of date and things of that nature.
Perishables.
Stolen. We have
everything.
pilferage you still deal with, unfortunately. Yes.
Everything. Yep.
So, how do you decide what goes on the shelf?
Well, usually the best way is you work with your wholesalers, and they usually have a good layout for all the top, 100 thousands of items that you need to carry. Then they help us set the store. I mean, originally it got set, it got all set. We do resets every so often, bringing in new items with their suggestions, and it's just a lot of watching the market and watching the trends and knowing what's the new hot trend to be part of. And
you have to carry all the big names.
Yep, and you got to carry the key items.
But yet, the thing about Pat's, and the thing that always attracted me to Pat's, is I could always find something in there I couldn't find anywhere else.
And we get a lot of those things because people just like you come into our store and say, hey, I'm looking for this type of item, and then we take that time and we search and we find, and quite honestly, when we find is when we bring those unique items, they tell their neighbors, and they tell their neighbors. And that's really how we've survived, because this is an extremely competitive market. The margins are less than 1% on average in the grocery business. People don't understand that. Yeah, there's a lot of volume. There's a lot of things going through there, but you got to constantly, be watching those pennies and making sure that you're taking care of the customers so they keep coming back.
We translate that into the audience. I mean, so if you have $100,000 in sales, you got about $1,000 in profit. That's way below what a business should return.
It is
in normal times. And what did for example, price of eggs do for you?
You still don't make any money on it because the cost goes up, and then you still got to be competitive within your marketplace.
So you can't price you get your same margin just because of cost. You can't, because then you price yourself out of the market. So they used to cost $1, they went up to $3. Who's going to buy? Oh, and we use you make 30%. Well, that would give us 30. You can't mark it up 30% on top of 3. Then you'd be way over $7, $8
else. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you have to sacrifice margin. So and then they're high price, but we can't make any more because they won't sell them. Then you shrink them. So it's constant managing that.
But you brought some deals. Every now and then you find deals that you like. Of the strangest things. I mean, they brought in packages of Rolo, dark chocolate Rolo, dark salted caramel.
And they're fantastic.
They are fantastic. But how'd you find them? I mean, you didn't just buy one.
No, I bought about 7,500 of them, and we've sold. It's the items that regularly sells for $1.69. We got them 2 for $1, and we've sold over half of them already.
2 for $1.
2 for $1. So it's a great value.
Yeah. But you go looking for those kinds.
I
of
do.
items, right?
I do. I take a ride. I have a lot of sources just over the years, meeting different people, and you find things.
And Reese's Jumbo Cups. I've never seen a Reese's Cup this big.
Yes. That's another item. That's a $2 item, and we're selling those for $1. I bought 2,500 of them, and I got about 500 left. And those are things that people come to our store. They're looking for something different and unique. We get beat up a lot of times. Oh, well, they're not the cheapest or whatever. But we do that extra thing. We go into the community. We donate a lot. We support a lot of different things. And there's a lot of events that happen in Freeland. And but we try to bring value, special values like these. I do a lot of things in the hardware, which we got in the business here only about 21 years ago. We've built our business there doing different things and seeking things out. We had a dollar store for that very short time, Pat's Dollar Depot that we had.
I remember. I remember that.
And we've absorbed that, but we still carry all the products. But I had all those sources.
So I have to ask, I was in an event recently, and I was surprised to hear that the caterer was Pat's Market. You got into catering now, too, huh?
We have.
Yeah, for the most part. We're not as big as we were. It's because labor is hard. So
we're going to get there.
Yeah, about 10 years ago we got into it, and actually that event you were at was our first catering job that we did for full service, and we've done that for about 10 years. Yeah, going on that close. We've scaled it back full service, but we still offer all the product for large parties. So any key events we've done will continue, and then we really push a delivery and drop it off. We'll set it up for everybody, and we still offer that catering. Just the full service is just hard to manage.
All right, we're going to take a break. Come back with our guests as we talk about the 70th anniversary of Pat's Market and some of the other things that are unique to the store. We'll talk about when we return here on WSGW. But first, let me remind you again, Wolf Isles is where we're broadcasting, 5818 State Street in Saginaw, because they have their big surplus equipment live auction this Sunday. Wagner Auctioneers will be here, 35 or more used items and some new items also out there, and there'll be a hardware trailer out there too. It's all happening this Sunday, but you can come out today and tomorrow and preview some of the bigger items that are out on the lawn today from 9 to 5, tomorrow from 9 to 5. They will take trade-ins up until auction day. In other words, through tomorrow, if you're buying a new, say, piece of equipment in here and you want to trade something in, you can do that through tomorrow, and it'll end up in the auction. And they do offer delivery through the store. You can talk to the sales folks in here. You'll find zero-turn mowers, push mowers, all kinds of equipment. And as I mentioned, a hardware trailer. Again, it is Sunday, June 1st, 10 a.m., and it looks like the weather's going to be favorable for it. So plan on coming out to Wolfiles Ace Hardware, and we will be back.
Rocket Grab Plus.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, and we have Stan and Joel with us from Pat's Food Center in Midland, in Freeland. It started in Midland many, many years ago, but they're celebrating their 70th anniversary of Pat's on M47 in Freeland. And I didn't realize what you brought. They brought food, folks. We have a table full of food.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you guys made your own brats.
Oh, yeah.
You have your own butchery for that?
Yep. Doing it for years. We put our brats up against anybody in the area, especially our meat manager. He always says that we call our meatheads. They make it fresh almost every other day, especially in the summertime. We just had a huge brat meal deal where over the holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend, we run our brats that weekend, and then we'll do it again Labor Day, where when you buy their brats, family pack size, you're going to get all the fixings free. You'll get free buns, ketchup, mustard, and a 2-liter pop. So that's one of our big promotions we do. We just had that, so
Yeah, now I understand why the margin shrinks.
yeah, it is whatever it takes to get them in. That's it. But yeah, we have all kinds of different flavors. We got the original, but we got bacon and cheddar original here right now for you to try.
How often
bacon and Swiss.
How often do you have to make them? Is that a continuous process?
Yeah, probably in the summer it's probably every 2-3 days. They make a batch and they fill it up. We will take special orders on them. And
so somewhere in that store, do you have a kitchen?
Oh yeah, well, yep. We have the delicatessen. We have a big kitchen back there. We do a lot with the catering we do out of there. So we cook some of these off. We'll sample them.
Yeah.
The meat guys have their own grinder and their sausage stuffer back there, and it's an old crank grinder with the hand, and
you're kidding.
They're doing it. It's up to date, but it is a hand crank. So their arms were sore from last weekend. And
you got to make sure for the guys that are spicy out there and the ladies, we have those jalapeno cheddar ones.
Yeah, you can leave those away from me.
But I have to tell you, the newest one we came up with last year is a Michigan asparagus and Vidalia onion cheddar brat. We make those.
What?
Yep. So there was we're sold out over the weekend. So I told the guys today, because I mentioned it, that's our newest one. You better be making them.
So how do they do it? They take asparagus,
fresh
all that, they grind it right in with the
Yep,
meat?
chop it up there, and we have a nice chopper system, and then dump it in the batch, the seasoning, with some Vidalia onions all chopped up, and your cheddar cheese, and mix it all up, and you stuff it.
And you don't boil them. You put them on the grill.
I was going to say, you don't boil them, right?
Yeah,
they got to be
take
grilled.
that flavor out of them, and they are fantastic, especially on a Weber grill.
Yep, well, I got one of those. It's amazing, though. But, how many varieties do you do then?
Oh, we have at least 10 different varieties or so, at least. So it's just a matter, and then some of them we get ideas from customers, that bring them up, and we've tried them and experimented.
So you have a cold sales case just for your brats then?
Yep. We have a nice section all laid out for them.
All right. So here's the question that's always fascinated me.
Yep.
How do you decide how to lay out a grocery store? Why is the freezer over here and the cereal over here and all that over here? Well, how do you do that? Is there a sales thing attached to it?
There is. They have. They have, just like any business. They have people who come in and they look at your flow of your business, and they make those changes. In the hardware business, we actually reset that a couple times. But within the grocery store, every so many years, a category comes up that's more important. They want that and
expand on or look back. Yep.
In the location, like your milk, they want you to walk into the back of the store to get it. Also, it makes it easier for us to.
So there is a reason.
Yeah, but everybody needs milk and bread, so you put that in the back of the store.
So
you
have
walk
to
through it.
Well,
to hopefully grab a couple more items when you're get it.
There is a science to it.
Yeah, and there's some, and it goes back and forth. It's kind of like on bread. Why do you put the bread in the beginning of the store instead of the back? It gets crushed or whatever. It is more perishable too. And when your cart gets to the end of the store and it's getting full, right? So you start saying, I got to start backing off on
stuff. You don't want the bread on the bottom.
Yeah. Well, you don't, and people, they've spent their money, or they think their budgets. is full, so they start backing off on purchases too. So if you put those destination items at the end, they're going to buy those as opposed to a more impulsive item.
So let's narrow it down a little bit. I walk into the cereal aisle. How is it chosen that the Frosted Flakes are right at eye level and I can grab it, and some odd ball is down here on the ground someplace that I don't see?
Well, usually a lot of them, once again, it goes back to destination items. So those ones that you know the kids are going to want, they're going to put those down low so the kids can get them and grab them, and you know they're going to go for them. Those higher end ticket items or the more health conscious for the adult, they're going to put up more at eye level or in high price. So if you look at things, sometimes it's high price at the top, cheap price at the bottom.
And so there is a science to
There is.
shelving.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Because it's always fascinated me because, you go into a store, and every store is different. If I walk into your store, only because I've been in there, I have an idea where things are. But there's also a certain flow. If I walk into your store, you're going to guide me through the produce area before I get into the rest of the store.
Yep.
Right.
And we
There's
do
a
that.
reason for that, too?
Yeah, well, yeah, we bring you right into our store, right, fresh. We have like fresh seasonal up front, and you go right into our produce and bakery deli area. It's all right in front
Right,
of you
it's
as you
right
walk in.
there.
So hopefully that a good presentation and it gets the smells and you get you hungry, and then you really that's
My only problem with it is, like with the bread, if I buy produce, it's perishable, and if I buy tomatoes and things like that, I don't want to pile stuff on top of it.
right.
But once again, that's that part of that layout process is that you put produce at the end of your purchasing. You're running out of money, and you got to turn that stuff. I mean,
Well, that's the perishable. That's
Yeah,
the real
so-
perishable
for,
stuff, isn't it?
3 days, you're in trouble. You got to turn it. And that's why that volume is so important. Having those customers every single day.
And how do you decide on a new item that you've never carried before? Who convinces you to put it on the
Sometimes,
shelf?
for me, a lot of it's experience and a gut a feel for items. Others, customers requesting, hey, just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's something I shouldn't carry.
I say a lot of those unique items, like you say, we have there are it's brought in because the customer asked for it, and that's what. Oh, really? So I can't find. Oh, well, you know what? Let's check it out, and then we bring it in. We always say, and I tell my managers, when there's one customer that asks for something, there's 10 that didn't ask. So that one that wanted you brought in,
Well,
there's 10
that was
other
my
people.
next question.
10 others that probably never asked you, and then there you go, you got
can't
it.
bring in cases of items
Right.
from one customer and one
Right.
item, because if it never sells again, those cases just cost you money.
That's right.
Correct.
And we have a lot of inventory there, so that's always that tough thing, trying to manage that. Not to have too much or have issues with dating and so forth. So it's a challenge.
So I imagine the non-perishables you can stock in your storage area, right?
Yeah, in the back room, yeah.
You can have a certain amount of it, particularly if you can buy it on sale.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
sure. But I'm a stickler. A lot of times we're standing it all the time. I'm in the back room. Why I'm in the back room? Because you can't sell it back there. Let's get it out. Figure out how we're going to merchandise it, where we're going to put it. So sometimes if we get a good buy, I'll buy like chairs, and I'll have them above all the cases, or I'll get a deal on coolers, and we'll get them all through the store, whatever. Get them out on that sales floor and show our customers the value.
And really, that is the key. If it's not out there, you're not selling it.
Right on.
Yeah. Got to see it.
We're not here for storing. We're here for selling.
Funny thing about that, 70 years of experience. How just out of curiosity, you guys weren't around back then,
Yeah.
but how different is the grocery business today from, let's say, 20, 30 years ago? Has it changed much, other than online and
Yeah, that's for
electronics?
For sure.
Yeah, that's the huge thing. That's the challenge now. You have to offer the online, which we have an online. You can shop online with us too, and we have curbside pickup. We have some local delivery, but other than that, the core values and what you sell and what people want, it's quality, it's value, and have a good service to sell it to them.
And that notion of pickup, if I ordered online, do you have pickers in the store that go around and pick
Yeah.
all the groceries out and bag it?
We do.
Yeah, me, Stan, and a couple of my clerks. Yep, it's all in house. We don't have
Well,
just a team, but we do. Yep, we have.
It's a working, but you guys
yeah,
got to work
yeah.
it. People
But
don't understand sometimes.
They don't.
People think being in business means, oh, you're on vacation all the time. Somebody's running your business.
Yeah.
No, you guys are working.
Yeah, not in the grocery business.
We talked about that during the break there. We live this. This is our life. It never shuts off. And we try to treat our people like family, and not only our customers. And a lot of them we know by name. We're different than a big store. We're family. We treat our people like we like to be treated, and we encourage our employees to do that. Obviously,
And we do get days off because we got a great team. So, so I can't say we don't.
Yeah,
And it's
I would hope so.
Yes. And,
All right. We're going to take a
helpful.
break, and we'll be back with our guests as we talk about the 70th anniversary of Pat's Market in Freeland.
Be the hero of your office.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW, talking to Stan and Joel from Pat's Market. 70 years in Freeland. They're celebrating. We're also celebrating a great deal he got on dark chocolate Rolos with salted caramel. He's giving them to everybody that wants one. Because you bought them by bulk, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
Well, anything we can get a deal on.
So how do you find a deal like that? I mean, you're sitting here in Freeland, Michigan. How do you find 7,500 dark Rolos?
Now, if I was to share that with you, what would happen to my business? I can't share that. Let's just say I have
those
my
deal-
sources.
Okay, well that's fair enough. That's
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
There are people you deal with though that keep you attuned of what's happening in the marketplace.
Sure.
Yeah. Our wholesaler's a big plus for that. And, they shoot us deals and events and what's happening, and, every day just about.
Yeah. And obviously, the industry news that gets sent to us on a daily basis, we want to know that. And the best way, really, quite honestly, is talking to our customers, hearing what they have to say, because those are the people that you want to keep happy.
But what sells in Oshkosh doesn't necessarily sell in Freeland.
Correct.
For sure. And we have a lot of regional items, obviously, that Sport Kogels is a big item for us, obviously, and on a number of brands.
Let's talk for a minute about prepared foods. Do you do much in the food preparation area where people can buy prepared food and take it home?
Yeah, that's probably our biggest area. That's the biggest growth in that. When we did this, our big expansion here back in 2004, and over the years, getting into catering and such, that food service is just going crazy. Obviously, in 2020, it kind of shut down a little bit, from COVID and that whole era. And that was the first we felt it. It's like, whoa, what's going on? Nobody wants the service and stuff, and prepared foods. This guy shut down, but after that, a year after that, it's now back to where it was, and it just continues to grow. Less and less people seem to want to cook. So we've been offering all kinds of great deals. In the deli, we got a nice hot case, and the lunch, we have a great lunch crowd. And we supply something with different menu things every day of the week in our deli. And
So that's another question I have. How do you decide what deli meats go in that case? Is it sales history? Or
yeah,
is it-
some history, and then the trends. You talk to your supplier, and what's the brands that carry, and we carry an old time deli meats and cheese from our supplier Opari, and that's been a good plus for us, and it's great quality, and we hang our hand on that, and then whatever the trend that's happening for the day, and seasonal stuff, St. Patrick's Day, you got lots of corned beef and stuff going on. Summer, you're going to sell a lot of cold cuts and such, all your turkeys and meats.
Are there multiple suppliers for the same items so that you can pit one against the other price-wise?
Oh, yeah,
So
yep,
that
yep.
You find the best deals?
Yep. You usually stick to your best couple vendors, but there's always others coming in wanting to offer you, try their product, to switch over and so on. But you try to be loyal with your main wholesaler, and then obviously in the deli, there's so many different varieties out there, all the different prepared foods and different lunch meats and such. So, you have some leniency probably to choose more what fits our market.
I mean, even to that, we make some things custom for our customers, handmade. I mean, we make
Salads.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
we have our seafood salad that's made
Oh,
right in house.
I've had that. I love it.
And we have a cranberry chicken salad, a sandwich spread, and for me, way back in the day, my dad had the Pat's Chili King. You know, some older people that maybe are listening remember way back across from
restaurant,
yep, Dow from Dow Chemical there, and it was called Pat's Chili King, and he
Brought
had
it in, yep.
and he had the chili coney dog
sauce.
and we still use that same recipe. He started
Now
back
you
in the
sell that in the market.
Yep.
Yes,
And
it's sold as a sandwich. We don't sell it actually.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
sell it. I mean, trust me.
it's on
any-
our Monday menu, hot dog. We have a hot dog bar, and we do the hot dogs and Pat's Conies and such on Mondays. And,
Okay, so I have to ask about trends because they come and they go.
Yeah.
And one trend we find if we go into almost any supermarket is sushi.
Yeah.
Do you guys carry any?
We have a pre-prepared sushi that we offer, and it's funny you ask that because I have some people interested
Well, I'm
in
a
it, and we
sushi
have some,
lover, that's why.
and we have a vendor interested. So it's something you gotta make sure it's the right fit. Obviously, it's a good trend. The thing is, will our store support it with the customer support? Is there enough volume for us to?
Well,
'cause that's fresh.
that's the other question.
You
know.
got to be able to turn that. So so we offer one in our deli right now that we buy in from it's pre-made for us. So
Right.
it's off a few days a week.
I know there's a
But-
place right down the road here that makes
Yep.
it for other stores.
Now,
Yeah.
and I believe there's and our competitors right now are really being challenged in that area because they can't. It's fresh. It's got to be that type of that fish.
Well, and
you got
grocery
one.
store.
You have one day to sell it, and I believe
perishable.
some of them are taking it out of their markets. It's
Yeah, I think
it's
a lot
like
of the
a
big box.
specialized area. Unfortunately, we'd love to be able to provide that.
But it's one of those areas could be profitable. You know,
Well,
it has a nice profit to it, but
Yeah.
again,
If you can
the
turn it.
shrinkage is what you got to worry about.
Is they going to eat up all your profit?
you know.
Yeah.
You know, and guess what? You know, it's funny. A short little story is that growing up, we had food that didn't make it. So that's what Joel and I ate growing up. So we
We
you
ate
know,
all day. You know, my parents would bring that home. Oh, you got to tell us. This is their,
you get
it ends
tired.
up in our house. You know, our cupboards are full of
You
them.
learn to eat what's on the table.
And you get tired of eating the same thing every day, you know. You eat a lot of banana bread, a lot of zucchini
Just
bread.
out of curiosity, do you deal with like hidden harvest
Oh yes, definitely
Yeah.
huge. Yep, we
rather
support-
than waste it?
Of
Yep.
course,
Yep.
of course. Yes,
Yep, we're a
for
big
sure.
supporter that they come every week, every other day. actually.
That's good news, bad news. The
It
good
is.
news is they come every week and save the food. The bad news is food you didn't sell.
Yeah.
That's correct.
You know, I was on the Hidden Harvest Board for 9 years, and I always appreciated the markets that
Yeah.
will share
For
what
sure.
they can't sell.
Yep, yep.
You know, and then again, it's got to be timely because that's got to be within a reasonable
Right,
date
right.
and everything.
Yep.
So
For sure, for sure.
All right, we're going to take one more break and come back, and then we'll have one more segment with our guest, Pat's Market in Freeland. Pat's, what's the technical name?
Let's get it
Pat
right. Pat's Food
Food Center.
Center.
Pat's Food Center.
Yeah,
Thank you.
everyone wants to say markets, but
I know. I've always
because we are a market.
Well,
but it
and
used to
I
be a
have
market,
tell
but now
you,
it's a food center.
I know it's Pat's Food Center, but yeah, when I talk to somebody about it, it's always Pat's. I'm going to go to Pat's Market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a local market. We are always a local guy, so we do appreciate that.
We don't care what you call us, just show up.
Show up. That's right. All right, we are here at Wolf Isles, where there's surplus equipment live auction takes place this Sunday, June 1st, 10 a.m. An inspection goes on today and tomorrow to 5 o'clock each day. Some of the items, to give you an example, here's a 2021 Skag Cheetah 2 professional grade ZTR 60-inch with a 30 horsepower Kawasaki EFI engine, digital controls, and it only has 320 hours on it. A couple of new Gravely ZTHD mowers with Kawasaki 24 horsepower engine, 60-inch deck, and comes with manufacturer's warranty. That's just an idea. Some of the things you're going to find, there's some demo Graveleys. There's Husqvarna, lawn and garden tractors, Cub Cadets will be out there, and of course they are also going to have a hardware wagon. It starts at 10 a.m. We had Marty Wagner on earlier from Wagner Auctioneers, and he expects that it'll last probably about 2 to 2.5 hours, so be here on time to get the best deals. Again, it is this Sunday, 10 a.m., 5818 State Street in Saginaw. It is Wolf Isles Surplus Equipment Live Auction.
Did you know you can bring the
All right, we're back with you. We're talking to Stan and Joel from Pat's Food Center in Freeland.
Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I want to make sure I get it right at least once. But everybody, it's funny because I said, I kept saying Pat's Market, but everybody doesn't think of it. They just think of going Pat's.
Yeah, Pat's. We're just Pat's.
Pat's is the name you really want to remember.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what
Right on.
we're called. We're at Pat's. Yep.
So if I were to ask you, what do you think Pat's Food Center is going to look like 5 or 10 years from now?